Greetings, everyone, and welcome. It is April the 28th. And today, 3 video clips that you must see coming in from Boris Johnson, coming in from United States Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana, and also from former Obama administration Evo Dalder, all in regard to the reality of the war in Russia and the ineptness of the American administration to understand what is truly going on. Putin is in control, and it is obvious, but Ukraine knows it, and Ukraine will win this war. I know the trolls will start dropping in the comments, I'm crazy, but no, you have to hear this. Boris and Senator John Kennedy, and yes, this thumbnail is there on purpose, no fishing. You will see why in just a moment. Thank you for sharing, liking, and commenting. We've went over 51K now, and we're pushing. We just want to push truth, truth, truth. Thank you for sharing and helping us get the message out. I look forward to reading your comments. Let's jump right in. We'll start with Senator John Kennedy. He is a Republican. He is from Louisiana. I can tell you that he is also not related to President John F. Kennedy. It is a different group of Kennedys. Kennedy supported sending aid to Ukraine, saying this is not just the fight for the people of Ukraine. It's a fight for the people of the United States of America. It's a fight for our national security. He is in the group of Republicans that support Ukraine. So thankful to him and how he stands with Ukraine. You need to hear this clip and let it roll.
Socrates to them. I see what you see. Here's what I see. Putin has reneged on every promise that he has made to President Trump. His latest proposal is, well, nothing. He wants to keep all the territory that he's taken. He wants to prohibit Ukraine from joining NATO, and he wants America and Europe to stop helping Ukraine. I think that Putin thinks that America has taken the bullet train to Chumptown. I think he thinks we're afraid of him. He has jacked around President Trump at every turn. He has disrespected our president. I don't think it's going to get any better until we make it clear to Mr. Putin that we are willing to turn him and his country into fish food. And I'm not talking about nuclear weapons or nuclear war. I would start with oil.
So there you have it. And he goes on and talks about the economy and other ways to get at Vladimir Putin, as he says. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, he's a Republican. Yes, he said it. Trump being played by Putin, and I will refer to it the way he is with that Louisiana Cajun accent. Mr. Putin is, it sounds like puke, but he says we need to let them know. We'll just turn them into fish food. So I have a question that just maybe this is the question to answer. How can that guy, Senator John Kennedy, be that clear, understand that Putin is playing Trump, and the entire Trump administration still thinks they're this close to a deal and everything's going to be all right and Ukraine's going to capitulate and Ukraine's going to give everything away? They're clueless. That's because they're heartless. I come back to that narrative continually. Trump is heartless about Ukraine. He doesn't care. All he cares about is the bottom line in the deal. And to be honest, he's just getting smoked everywhere on the international front in foreign policy, and the world's just laughing at him. Now, Boris Johnson. Love Boris. Listen, I'm not from the UK, but I love Boris Johnson. He was there early in the war standing for Ukraine, and this man loves Ukraine, knows Ukraine, and realizes what's going to happen in the future. He comes out. It's appalling, bitter pill in that Queen's English, appalling, bitter pill for Ukraine to have to swallow. Here he is. The Ukrainians are going to win. This is their country, and they won't let Putin take it away. Former British PM. Anyone who believes that Ukraine can be sold cheaply without real guarantees, Donald Trump, and prospects for integration into the West is very much mistaken, Donald Trump. We must put ourselves in the Ukrainians' shoes. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And stop thinking about bloody Vladimir Putin and how to calm his crazy mind. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let it rip, Boris.
I don't see a solution for Ukraine that doesn't give the Ukrainians what they fundamentally need, and that is a security guarantee of some kind. So, we're talking now about, you'll have read it all, Aaron, you'll have seen that everybody's talking about recognition of Crimea by recognition of Russian possession of Crimea by America, the Putin being allowed to keep some of his territorial gains, a lot of his territorial gains, Ukraine accepting that they won't join NATO, that kind of thing. These are very, very bitter pills to swallow for the Ukrainian people. This is an appalling reward for aggression by Vladimir Putin to say that we have to recognize his occupation of Crimea. I mean, come on, for Ukraine not even to be able to say at the end of that, after 3 years of heroic fighting, that they've got a security guarantee from NATO is terrible. But then not even to be able to say they got a security guarantee from the United States and the rest of the West. That's terrible. And, it's not clear what Ukraine is really getting out of this conversation, this negotiation at the moment. It kind of feels like all the concessions are being made to the wrong guy. All the concessions are being made to Putin. I just can't see that working. And what people continually underestimate in all this, Harry, is the fact that the Ukrainians are going to win.
Hear, hear.
Nobody seems to understand this. It's their country. They're not going to let Putin get away with it. And anybody who thinks that they can just be sold down the river and will accept the mutilation of their constitution, the loss of their territory, for nothing in exchange, for no long-term Western security guarantees, no long-term prospect for Ukraine to be integrated into the West. They've got another thing coming. Believe me, it's just not going to happen like that. We really need to put ourselves in those Ukrainians' shoes and stop thinking about bloody Vladimir Putin and what we need to do to appease his crazy psychology and what we need to do to give him an off-ramp. He does.
Hear, Boris Johnson. We need to stop thinking about bloody Vladimir Putin and giving him an off-ramp and his crazy psychology. By the way, the Ukrainians are going to win.
Slava Ukraini!
Additionally, he also was stating, all I see are concessions for Putin. This is not going to work. Nothing clear that Ukraine gets. And you're underestimating that Ukraine will win, not just be sent down the river. Forget it. Very, very direct statements. It was Marco Rubio saying that over the next week or so, we're going to see where the United States ends up. It was Donald Trump yesterday saying, well, in a couple of weeks, maybe less, maybe more. We'll see where we're going to be. Let me make that simple for you. He's trying to get past Victory Day in Russia with Putin. It's simple. It's easy to see. But none of those are going to work. Ukraine is fighting and they are being given nothing. Putin gets everything and the off-ramp. Boris Johnson, that's bloody not going to work. You've got to love that Queen's English there. Now, let's go to the last one. Need to hear this. This is interesting because this comes back against the Trump narrative that, of course, all he does is blame everybody else. He blames it's Obama's fault. If you want to know about Crimea and why that's gone, it's Obama's fault. I guess I'm sure he's been reminded of Pompeo and the Trump administration's view on Crimea as Ukrainian in 2018. He just chooses to be a bully and to not care about his own former viewpoints written down, run through the State Department, Congress. His former positions are irrelevant. We'll just blame Barack Obama and we'll just blame sleepy Joe Biden. By the way, it was Trump sleeping at the Pope's funeral, but that's a different story. Evo Dalder, Putin wants to seize all of Ukraine. He was the former ambassador to NATO under Obama, pre-Crimea, when we were leading up to all of this. He says that's why he started this war back in 2014 when he took over Crimea. And of course, that's what he's been trying to achieve since the full-scale invasion in February of 2022. And until he's stopped, he'll continue to do that. Here, you can hear him.
President Putin doesn't want peace. He wants to control Ukraine. That's why he started this war back in 2014 when he took Crimea and started an uprising that he directly supported in eastern Ukraine. And of course, what he's wanted since the full-scale invasion in February of 2022. He wants to control Ukraine, and in fact, he wants to change the European post-Cold War security order. And as long as he's not stopped from doing that, he will continue to push. So I think...
There you have it. Very well stated, and that's coming from Dalder. Putin's not going to stop. He wants not only all of Ukraine, but he wants to completely change the entire playing field with Europe and the rest of the world. And that's what we've been talking about. And that's what we've been seeing. So we'll see what unfolds from there. But I thought that was important to share, especially since all Trump can do is blame the Obama administration. Hey, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking and commenting. Appreciate all of you helping us get the narrative and the truth out. I'm so happy now. The trolls are accusing me of being a propagandist. I am. I'm a propagandist for truth and for what is right. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. We'll be back at you later.